Heyo, Patrick.
How are we getting on, buddy? So, what have you for me today?
We have Undivided with Brandi Kruse talking about the Washington education system and some of these strange goings on we have there.
Okay, right.
She has.
What's actually happening over there?
Well, it seems that there are people who are making fairly decent wages, or even way beyond that, that are having some problem getting some assets to the classrooms. She's going to talk about some of those things and what that looks like. So we will let her.
I remember we covered about school boards before in Buffalo, wasn't it? Buffalo school boards.
Yeah, that was with Detective Hyde.
Yeah, the crazy wages they were on was unbelievable.
Right. Oh, well, you're going to see it again. It's coming back around. It seems to be pretty much all over the country, and this is kind of a line we've been following. So I want to show that it is in most places. I have some friends, some close type friends who live out in the Kansas area, in the state of Kansas, and they're like, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. A sped director in a rural area making over $300,000 a year. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's no joke.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I don't.
We're definitely in the wrong line of work. Just saying.
Right. I should have got a doctorate in education. So, all right, here we go.
I don't know if I've ever been so tickled by something. It really just gave me so much joy when I saw this yesterday. So, of course, we opened our show yesterday by talking about the union thugs from the Washington Education Association and the Service Employees International Union, who are doing everything they can to dismantle the initiative process in Washington state. And they're supporting something right now that's been dubbed the Initiative Killer Bill. And it would do several things. But one of the things they would do, it would take away paid signature gatherers who are paid per signature as a tool from organizations like Let's Go Washington. And
so in the United States, if you want to advance an initiative to get it onto a state ballot, you start this process. And the people who go out on the street to gather signatures get paid per signature. And so they want to stop that from happening. They want the people who are doing this to be paid employees or to do it on commission, that kind of thing, right? So a 1099 versus a W-2 and all that kind of stuff. So it's an interesting process, and it's kind of a side hustle for some people, so they can make a little money. Go out, hang out at the shopping center or the car lot or wherever there's people going to be. Right?
Yeah, sign this for whatever. Yeah, okay.
Right. I think that we should have a special tax on widgets, and then you go out and you start your initiative, and you get people to sign up, and then boom, boom, boom. Once you get X amount of signatures, then they will put it on the ballot. So anyway, so this is one of the things that the WEA and SEIU are kind of uncomfortable with, and she'll go into why that is.
Claim made by these union thugs is that when you pay people per signature, there's more incentive for them to commit fraud.
Paying by the signature rewards speed and volume and creates pressure to cut corners. These reforms reduce documented issues such as misleading tactics and falsified signatures when compensation is tied to volume.
Documented issues, misleading tactics, falsified signatures, that should concern every single one of us. But that woman who's from the WEA was asked by a Republican on the committee if she had evidence or any sort of information on the fraud that she was alleging.
Do you have anything to offer of specific examples, I won't use the word evidence, since 2014, that paid per signatures has resulted in a fraudulent signature as you sit here before today?
I'll take.
Bro, you just dropped the mic. Did you see that?
Yeah. Let me guess. This is her feeling is fraud. What in proof, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know if it's an emotional bent or what the thing is, but I don't know that there's a lot of evidentiary value to what she's trying to do. So let's see what she has to say, though.
Yeah, normally when a guy drops a mic like that, I think I already know her answer. But let her continue.
Anytime that somebody brings you in for an investigation, they probably already know most of the things. They're just making sure you're not going to lie about it. So let's see what she's got to say.
The question and say that currently I don't have it handy. I'll make sure to follow up with the committee on behalf of our testimony. Thank you.
Don't have it. I'll make the accusation, but I can't actually tell you what kind of fraud has been perpetrated.
I think if I were to go to a meeting like that, I would probably have the receipts, right? On this date, at this time, this entity or organization, NGO or otherwise, committed fraud in this way. We can tell the signatures, right? Mickey
Yeah,
Mouse and
basically,
Ozzy Osbourne can only
yeah.
sign so many times, right?
They say long ago, have all your ducks in a row.
Yeah, but she didn't bring any ducks with her, so they were obviously not. She didn't even have a duck. It was just not in a row, no ducks, no rows, no nothing. So
Yeah, she brought one piece of paper. That's it with her speech on it.
yeah, well, she had things to say. She had feelings, and they
Right.
were involved. All right.
Okay.
Also on that panel was this guy from SEIU.
I'm a SEIU 925 union organizer supporting public service employees across Washington state. The paper signature structure rewards speed over accuracy and discourages the worker from going into detail about what someone is signing.
This is where this just gets delicious. So you've got SEIU WEA saying paying per signature leads to fraud. It's a whole ordeal. So you can pay people, but you just got to pay them a daily rate or an hourly rate. So they're not incentivized to write fake signatures or to do these things. So Brian Haywood, who is the founder of Let's Go Washington, pushing all these initiatives that they're trying to fight back against, he posted this on X. Enjoy. Yesterday, I sat and listened to the SEIU testify that we must absolutely change the initiative process to prevent fraud. Interesting, they should be so concerned about fraud. The only significant case of fraud in the initiative process over the past 20 years actually involved SEIU in 2008.
That's suspect, right? They're the only ones that were involved in it. It was 2008. They haven't found any since, but now they're worried about it.
Yeah, they're worried about fraud. Yeah. Well, there's no better people. There's no better people who worry about fraud than the people who actually did it before.
Well, they have experience, so they know what it looks like.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Here is an article from the Spokesman Review in 2008. Allow me to read it for you. King County will prosecute a state worker for signature fraud in a case involving at least 19 phony signatures on Initiative 1089, the income tax proposal. Claudia McKini, a member of SEIU, who was paid by the union for the time she took off work to gather signatures, is being charged with forging other people's signatures on some of the petitions she turned in. Elections workers doing random checks of petitions found several signatures that didn't match and others for people who weren't registered voters on petitions McKinney submitted. All of the petitions she turned in were then pulled from the piles and about...
So when you're out and about and you go to the grocery store and there's people out there doing it, they have to confirm what county you reside in. Because if you don't reside, let's say they're like, hey, are you in Sacramento County or Nevada County or whatever? And I say, no, I actually reside in the state of Nevada, Well, then they can't get my signature because it doesn't apply, right? Because it's not the right region, not the right area, not the right space for it. So that's why that's significant.
300 of the 349 signatures she submitted were questioned. A Washington State Patrol investigation contacted 19 of the people who said the signature on the petition wasn't theirs. So again, here is this SEIU guy at the hearing talking about how we cannot allow people to be paid per signature because it could lead to fraud. So instead, we need to pay them hourly.
By allowing hourly, daily, salaried, or contracted pay instead of piece rate pressure.
So, pay per signature, bad. Fraud. Pay hourly, pay daily, good. That can avoid fraud. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, well, in 2008, was this SEIU worker paid per signature? And that's why she allegedly falsified 19 or more signatures? Or was she paid hourly or paid daily? Because that really is the crux of the issue here. Well, let me read that for you, too. An attorney for SEIU told the State Patrol that McKinney was not paid by the signature, but was among union members who were paid out of a union fund for the time they took off work to gather signatures. So not only is SEIU accusing Republicans of doing initiatives in a way that could lead to fraud and then having no evidence of it, but the only evidence that can be found at all of the kind of fraud that they're talking about involved an SEIU employee.
To be fair, it was 2008, right? It's over 15 years ago. So I don't know. This feels like not that big a deal, but I think the union side of it might be the bigger issue or problem. And we talked about it before. When you have an entity on both sides of the table that is arguing for the same thing and they're functionally on the same team, it doesn't feel like arbitration. It feels like collusion. I don't have a better idea. I don't know what a better plan would be, but that's what that feels like.
as I said, unions are the lesser of all evils. I've always said that to you. And I understand where a lot of people get confused in the United, especially in the United States. It's where they see people on both sides working for the US government and they say, oh, they shouldn't be working together because, as you say, it sounds like collusion.
Right.
But there's no better other way for them to negotiate unless they negotiate in a union as a group.
Or as a block, yeah. If you don't have a block, then they're just going to tell you individually.
They're not going to listen to
you're
you.
not getting
Well,
any more
it's not-
benefits or pay or anything. Yeah.
because I think we're all old enough to remember our time before unions. Well, I'm old enough to remember time before unions, pretty much in Ireland, where unions were discouraged and everything else, and workers had very little rights. They could be fired at will. They could be, denied benefits, so on. Oh,
Just
unions have,
randomly,
yeah, I think unions have their place. They do have their place. It depends on the leadership of that union, though.
Right.
I think that's where people should be more interested in.
Right. All right.
More than just attacking unions in general.
Oh, for sure. All right, we got about a minute left. Let's go ahead and finish this one out.
It involved an SEIU employee who wasn't even being paid per signature. They were being paid for the time they spent out there collecting signatures, regardless of how many signatures they brought forth. But of course, they cheated because why? The SEIU wanted the income tax proposal at the time. And so this SEIU minion decided that she was going to go out, collect some signatures, but then forge other signatures. So SEIU guy.
I'm a SEIU 925 union organizer supporting public service employees across Washington state. The paper signature structure rewards speed over accuracy and discourages the worker from going into detail about what someone is signing.
Yeah, maybe if you're so worried about fraud, you should look at your own members.
Yeah, there's regulations on how they do that. You cannot misrepresent what it is they're going to be signing on, right? Can't say it's a tax reduction when it's a tax hike, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, it's, as I said, it's a very interesting way of doing things over there, actually. You know what I mean? Very, very interesting. But still, it's a bit. It can be, as Brandi said, it can be very easily fiddled. The books can very easily be fiddled.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fiddling and finagling going on with stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and I understand that she's going on about that one teachers union, or that particular union, but
the SEIU and the Washington Education.
Yeah, and I understand she has her own
axe to grind.
How can I put it? Yes,
like that.
That's what it feels like. Am I right or am I missing the mark?
I think there's just so much corruption that everything that comes out now for her is just like icing on the cake, right? Like, yeah, stop. Like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, but there's also a way if you keep looking for zebras, you're always going to see zebras.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that might be a bit of, I think that might be, in her case, I think she might take a step back a bit.
And see. I get it.
Yeah.
All right, but I mean, decent information though, so I respect that. So, all right, for Patrick McCallum, I am Alex Johansson. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things, help us beat the algorithm. For the A&P gents, and we are out.